guest, okay, all the way out there in JA. We're looking forward to hearing his vibe, hearing his energy, and you know how it goes. So, of course, special guest, you there?
Yes, I'm very much here.
Greetings, greetings. So, of course, let the listeners know, let the people know who you are and a little bit about yourself.
Well, hail all who's listening. I'm Aristotle the Great. I am an upcoming Jamaican artist from Mandeville, actually, Mandeville, Manchester. And so far, I'm just somebody who's a lover of music.
Yeah.
A multi-instrumentalist, and looking forward to enjoying releasing some new music soon.
For real, most definitely. And you know what? You've released some great tunes already, which we'll talk about. But I wanted to know what got you into music. Tell us a little bit about your journey, how it all began.
Well, I'm 30 currently.
Okay.
That's my age currently. Not ashamed of my age at all. But 28 years out of that was spent in church.
Okay.
I was born in church. I was raised in church. So at around 10 or 12, I got my first instrument from my grand uncle. He bought me a guitar.
Yeah.
And an amp as well. So that started up, and then being at church, hearing instruments being played, having a passion for that part. That's the part that really interested me every time I went to church.
Okay.
So eventually, I became the church's musician with my brothers, actually. I have two brothers, and all three of us ended up being the main musicians for the church, and that's how I just got practice exploring gospel, exploring different genres, and eventually I started out on the drums.
Yeah.
Spent some time on the drums, but eventually went to the guitar, then the bass, then the keyboard. So that's how I got this love for music, by being able to create it myself.
For real, for real. And you know, with that, you know, every time I talk to some great artists, you know, they always say their journey starts in the church. And I wanted to know what happens in the church. How does it kind of all evolve into these great artists?
Well, the thing about it is, as much as I am no longer a part of it, I can still see and appreciate it for what it does for people.
Yeah.
Who are trying to find themselves in the grand scheme of things. It gives them something to believe in. It gives them something to look forward to. There are a lot of people who look forward to going to church every Sunday, because to them that's their release, that's their de-stress.
Yeah.
And while there, they also get to have an emotional time. Even though it's centered through Christianity, they still end up exploring themselves to know what type of person they like to be, what role they like to play in the grand scheme of society.
Yeah.
So Aristotle, who I'm named after, always said it's the mark of an educated mind to entertain a thought without fully accepting it. So while I don't fully agree with everything that the church does, I do agree that it plays a vital role in spirituality with a lot of people.
For real.
Based off of that, like for myself, that's how I knew I wanted to do music there.
Yeah.
So
definitely.
It was a really spiritual place.
For real. And you know, people are asking me, so I've got to ask you, where and why did you choose your name? Where did that come from?
Well, fun fact, that's my real name.
Okay.
My father gave me that name. So my full name, that's actually my middle name.
Okay.
So it's Alain Rohan Aristotle Buchanan. That's the name I was given from birth. But during COVID is where, and I know COVID affected a lot of people.
Yeah.
So during COVID, I got the time to really reflect, sit and think, even though I was still working. But still got the time, more time to reflect, like, what are you really doing? What do you want to do? What direction do you want to go in? And that helped me to gain a lot more self-confidence than I have ever gained in my entire life. And just add the great to it.
Yeah, for real.
Keep that Jamaican flavor.
Yeah, you know what? That sounds like a king's name, you know, still. It sounds like a king.
I definitely believe so.
For real. For real.
Well, in Greek history, Aristotle taught Alexander the Great as well.
Yeah.
So I also did that with that in mind. So if he taught Alexander the Great, he must have been great himself.
For real, for real. And you know, when it comes to music now, how would you describe yourself? Would you put yourself in a particular genre, or would you say you're quite eclectic?
Well, I'd say on the eclectic side for now, because this would be the first time I'm doing my own music. I've been known in and around Mandeville to be the covers guy, the singer.
Yeah.
So I used to sing a lot of covers at open mics whenever I could. Walk with my instruments because adding that extra flavor to poetry. A lot of people liked that part.
Yeah.
So I used to do a lot of covers, but right now, since I'm exploring my sound, even though I'm still flexible, I love the fact that I'm still flexible in my music. So for now, it's really exploratory and it's fun. I do appreciate what I've created so far and look forward to, eventually deciding whether or not I want to go with a particular genre. But for now, it's Jamaican music because it's coming from a Jamaican.
For real, I like that still. And you know what? Tell us about some of the tunes. So I know we've got Program, we've got Burn or Break, first of all. Tell us about those two.
Okay, so Burn or Break was co-written by Adrian Allen. That song really has a history. We wrote that song from 2011 when I graduated Church Teachers College.
Okay.
So we were really good friends. He's a musician as well, great guitarist. Big up Adrian Allen wherever he is. So he and I used to hang out a lot, play covers as well. He used to work with his acoustic guitar all over campus. The school knew us as the music guys. So he wrote the song. Believe it or not, he wrote the first verse, and we came up with the chorus.
Yeah.
But he kept saying, "All right, dude, write your verse." And I was like, I'll try. At that time, I'm not really a songwriter. I'm just trying to get out of college.
Yeah.
So, but I love the music and he recognized that. So he wrote the first verse years from 2011. I never, ever got around to writing a second verse. But every time we performed part of that song, it always drew a lot of attention. Fast forward to 2020, down at the end of 2020, during COVID, when there was a little bit of leeway to, meet and greet, get your stuff and go back into lockdown. I met up with him, went over to his place, and he was playing the acoustic guitar.
Okay.
And he started singing the song again. I'm saying, you know what? It's about time I finish that song now. So I wrote my second verse right there and then 5 minutes. So
5 minutes.
Years he was like, yo, write your verse. And I'm like, eh. But right then and there, years later, it took me 5 minutes to write my verse. And he was like, yo, that's solid.
Yeah.
So couple months later, I told him, yo, I'm going to take on music serious and I wanted to join me. So he said it wasn't really something he wanted to do at this time in his life, but he said, guess what? It's a 2-hour song. I'm just going to gift it to you. Do road with the song. So that's how Burn or Break came to fruition. Everything else, the arrangements, the verse, the arrangement has been changed from what we were used to singing.
Yeah.
So everything else was me. But he co-wrote that song with me and gave me his blessing to perform it as one of my first serious projects.
For real. And how about Program?
Program, no. Program was written on a very emotional day, honestly. I had a fight with my partner at the time. Okay. And I was like, yo, I don't think this fight is really warranted. Honestly, I'm a good person, and I think that she's just not used to the type of man I am as yet, and so our squabble wasn't that important. Okay. And we just get vexed, and I say, yo, more while if we just stop this program, because I'm a good youth, and you don't have to worry about certain things with me. And at that time, she wasn't listening, so the only thing I could turn to was what I've always been used to, which is music. So I just penned the song. Yeah. Fabian Titus had sent me the rhythm before. Big up Fabian Titus, wherever he is in the world. He's also part of the Village Music Group that we're running. So yeah, he sent me the rhythm, and he said, let me see what comes with it. I had the rhythm for a while, but on that day, wrote the song, voiced the verse, my verses, and sent it to him, and he's like, yo, yeah. So he slapped something on there too, and we shot the video in St. Elizabeth. Okay. That's also on our Vivo page, The Village Vivo. Yeah. On YouTube. But yeah, that's how Program came about. Wow. And Sunday Evening is the most recent song I did with Pablo George. Big up Pablo George as well. Yeah, man. Great Afrobeat upcoming artist. But we did Sunday Evening and released it in January on the 23rd. Yeah. And that was also just us exploring our musical talents. And that song was really him letting me know, yo, I have this song that's unfinished. This is what the song's about. Let me hear what you say. By the way, myself and Pablo George have attended the same high school and primary school, if I'm not mistaken.
Okay.
But we weren't really like friends during those times. But the fact that we both decided to do music, that's something we could both relate to.
Yeah.
So he sent me the unfinished song. I added my part, and it's just basically a song about a girl who you met and y'all have a vibe, but now that you leave and you're texting her on Sunday evening, say, yo, wait up, and she's not even responding. And it cause you feel like wonder, like, okay, was I confused about our meeting, or did I read wrong signals? Because everything was going well when we were there.
Yeah.
But now that I'm texting you, now that I'm reaching out to you, you're probably not answer where you're there, stuff like that.
Okay. Yeah, man, I like all the sounds of them. I like that you've, explored different topics of your emotions and your feelings, and they're definitely nice tunes. So we'll be playing those later. And I know that you're signed as well to Deville Edge Music Group. Tell us about that. How did you kind of link up with that?
Okay, the Village Music Group is actually myself, Shane Williams, and Fabian Titus. I listen to a lot of music, and DJ Khaled, I remember DJ Khaled singing in one of his songs called Nas Album Done.
Yeah.
He said, start a label, run it, sign yourself. That's a major key. And so when I got into the music, I'm like, well, instead of finding a different label to like feel sorry for me and take me up or trying to impress them, why not try out that DJ Khaled line, because that's something DJ Khaled is doing and it's turning out well for him. So while it may take a while to develop, do it. So I approached those two. Shane Williams from Stage Sound Solutions, big up Shane, that's my manager. And just let him know, say, yo, we could start up something for ourselves. And we just examined the resources that each of us had and realized if we put it together, it can actually work and we can actually use it to support other artists. So we decided, all right, a lot of businesses can come from this partnership. So the first official thing we did was the Village EP and the videos that are on the Viva page currently, and more projects to roll out from there. So that is how we're assigned to the Village Music Group, because we are the Village Music Group.
Nice, I like that still. And I like the fact that you've taken some advice from a fellow DJ who's doing very well, DJ Khaled, and, took that and put that to yourself. That's a great thing to put forward for the youths.
Yes, thank you. I think that's definitely something that people don't realize about music, that it's still one of the most effective forms of education, really. So to hear that they were able to tell us those things, but the most important thing to do is to apply it.
Yeah, man, definitely. And so with that now, what kind of influences you, what kind of inspires you as an artist, as a person?
Well, as an artist, I'm an introvert, really. So I like to be alone or with my partner, really. But most of my inspirations come from just sitting down and meditating. The truth is, I'm still a very spiritual person, even though personally I'm not really subscribed to a religion, but I do believe spirituality has to do with you as a person, finding yourself, believing in a higher power, and just zoning in on that power and reassuring yourself every chance you get.
Yeah.
So most times I meditate, just sit there, just think about, just reflect on what happened, potential. I like to do that in a very peculiar place, but that's where most of my inspiration comes from as an artist. Really, that I remind myself that I have a story to tell.
Yeah.
My experience is worth telling. Chronix is another person I learned from. Big up Chronix wherever in the world. Chronix did a mixtape. I think it was called Roots and Chalice.
Yeah.
With and on the mixtape he had a recording there saying, what do you want to talk about? What is your experience? Don't you want people to know that? Because he's not a reggae artist, but if he decides today, say he wants to write about reggae, that's what he's going to do.
Yeah.
So things like that, just to reassure myself that my experiences are our stories worth telling.
Definitely. And everybody has a journey, so definitely worth telling, for real.
Yeah, definitely. And hopefully somebody out there can actually relate to being at that space and time in their life at some point in time.
For real. And one thing I wanted to ask you is that, yourself being in Jamaica now and having such a diverse amount of music around you and the influence that Jamaica has across the world, whether people want to admit it or not. And I wanted to know, what impact does that have on you as a person who lives in Jamaica, knowing the impact that it has on the world?
Well, honestly, I think that's one of the biggest things I have going for me right now, which is why I'm approaching this sector so confidently, even though we know that the music industry is very volatile right now, a lot
Yeah.
of shifting parts, a lot of things happening all over the world. But I'm still a part of my uniqueness as Aristotle the Great is that I'm Jamaican. I'm an intellectual Jamaican.
Yeah.
And so my brand, that part of me that I'm born with will shine out in anything I put my mind to. Also, I think I think I'm the type of person who's so okay with learning that I know I'll be learning as I go along. So I already am learning from other artists' mistakes, and I'm also learning from my own mistakes. So I have to make it as long as I'm consistent.
For real. And you know, earlier I wanted to kind of pick up on it. You spoke about poetry. I know you're a teacher as well. I wanted to know a little something about those two things from yourself.
Oh, well, I'm a math and physics teacher at Manchester High School. I teach up to the Cape and CSEC level, so most times I'm teaching for exams.
Okay.
That's still going on. That's definitely something in terms of balancing my time that I do my best to cope with.
Yeah.
My students so far, the thing is, math and physics has always been a topic that people are afraid of.
Okay.
But I try to approach it in a very confident way so that my students and anybody else who's really interested in the topic can actually appreciate it for what it is. And I include a lot of it in my lyrics. I write from that place because, as I said, music is one of the biggest forms of education. So yes, I'm in the classroom, but I also believe that in my music I can educate those same students if they're listening, or other people who aren't in my classroom. I can probably educate them on something too.
Yeah, man, for real.
Poetry is where I really started out with writing. So I didn't start out writing songs. I started out writing poetry, and that started from a very long story, but short version. A friend of mine, Dino, big up Dino anyway in the also another artist. He invited me to play for his partner's birthday, and I ended up going to what was an open mic, which was just straight poetry. I didn't even know that existed in Mandeville at the time, but going there really, I was like, wow, I like this. I think I should continue coming. And after coming a couple times, I realized that okay, I'm going to write one for myself.
Yeah.
And so I started writing poetry from there. But I think that definitely helps me with my songwriting.
Yeah, for real, 100%. And you know, it's a great stress relief as well, poetry.
Oh, could you repeat that?
I said it's a great stress relief. Poetry is great to release stress.
Oh, very much. Yeah, and djkat, yeah, your poetry up. Yeah, definitely up.
Blessings, I appreciate that.
Love your image and how you represent for creatives and females and Africa and just overall positivity.
Give thanks, I appreciate that. So you know what? What's next for you? What can we look forward to hear from yourself?
Well, it's for now. I'm trying to build my catalog. Okay. I do acknowledge that you definitely need a certain amount of songs before you can entertain generally. So I'm just trying to build my catalog with singles, and I'm also the type who believes that I should build an audience first before I start to drop bodies of work. So that's really what I'm trying to do. Took a hit at the start of this year because I somehow lost my TikTok and my old Instagram account. So for those who were following my old Instagram account, I had to make a new one. Aristotle D Great, Aristotle.di.great. So I had to make a new one. I'm just trying to get back those followers, but as well as garner a whole new audience. So I had up to about over 4,000 followers on the last one. It was going well, and I just woke up one morning and just didn't have access to it anymore. And I tried everything. It wasn't. It was deleted. I didn't post anything. So I'm just trying to build back that audience now, but I don't see it as a loss.
Yeah.
I can still use it as an opportunity to know who was really an aristocrat. Big up all of my aristocrats. Anybody who's been a fan of me, anybody who's been following my page, big up every one of my aristocrats.
For real. And of course, speaking of that, tell us how people can follow you on Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. Tell us your link so they can check you out.
Okay, so the Village Vivo, that's the YouTube page that I'll be using to post my content from now on. But I do have a separate YouTube page, Aristotle D Great. That I was thinking of doing more personal content and leaving it there. But whereas my music is concerned, I mainly release on AudioMac. So I have an AudioMac channel, and The Village also has an AudioMac channel, and it's d.vill-edge. The Village, made from the fact that we're from Mandeville. So
yeah, I like that.
The Village. Yeah. Instagram, Aristotle.d, it is di.great. That's the new channel. Just support whenever you can. I reply to everybody as much as I can whenever they do follow me. Try to build a conversation, see how well they've explored the content and if I'm doing anything that's attracting them. Facebook, I have a Facebook page called The Lyceum, named after the Greek version of Aristotle. He had a school called the Lyceum. That was the school he made first after learning from Plato. Okay. So I named my Facebook page The Lyceum, but it's still all about Aristotle the Great, Village, everything there. Twitter, same Aristotle the Great. So I'm covering as much grounds. TikTok, Aristotle _D dot, and it's GR8. So Aristotle the Great. So I'm just spreading the message as far and wide as possible and checking for the feedback.
For real. And you know, I can't have you on here and not ask you to sing a little something. Would you be up for that?
Yeah, I'll definitely be up for that.
Okay.
Also, my music is available on. Some of the music is available on all other platforms, so you can find me on Spotify as well and Apple Music and everywhere. But which one should I sing?
What are you feeling? Go with what you're feeling, and then do that one.
Okay. I'll stick to Burn or Break. So, but I'm really nervous. I get really nervous. So hopefully
you've got this.
Burn or Break. I think I'll sing On the Move.
Okay.
Burn or Break you have, so I'll sing On the Move. That was one of my first songs that I wrote.
Okay.
By myself. So the first verse goes, first phase, break a day. The hustle crowd, so you know I'm awake. Get dressed, breakfast, sweet kisses from my missus sends me on my way. I'm on to the grand, long walk, long drive. Yeah, I see you player, but to talk I couldn't find the time. On site, being supervised, my professionalism gets skepticism of all kinds. Yeah, you guessed it, just a black man wrestling depression and making ends meet through the struggle. So you listening, thinking that's basically me, but that ain't the whole picture, only part of the puzzle of my LYPHE, and it's mine, cause it's UNIQUE. I'm a man of confidentiality, so how you view me is just a little peek, cause when you see me in these streets, hey, what's up, then I take my leave, no offense taken, please. I'm getting in my groove for the paper chase to survive. And if you mean me good, well, much obliged. But call me Barris with this no disturb sign, cause I am on the move.
Jeez. Yeah, you know what? You didn't need to be nervous, man. People are loving that, sending me fire, saying they love your vibe, they love the energy. Just keep it up, keep going with that positive vibes, yeah?
Yeah, I really appreciate that, djkat. And big up to everybody who's listening right now. Appreciate the energy, and definitely we'll be keeping it coming.
Anytime. And you know what? Keep the link, and it'll be great to have more tunes from you. You've always got my support, yeah?
Of course, djkat. You're a
man.
Kat, of course.
For real, for real. Yeah, man. And you know what? I hope you have a blessed rest of the day. I know it's still quite early out there in JA, but have a great rest of the day, and it's been a blessing to speak with you, for real.
Yes, same to you, and thank you so much. This goes down in my history. You're the first interview I've ever done, so
nice. Yeah, man. Keep it going. Bless it. We'll speak soon.
Yeah, man. Take it easy.
You too. Bless, bless. Yes, people, please do go out there. Go and check him out. Go and see what he's all about, what he's been doing. Okay, it's been a pure blessing to speak with him. Okay, but right now we're going to be playing some tunes from him, going to feel his vibe, feel the energy. Big shout out to all those who've been sending lots of love, lots of blessings. It's always appreciated for the artist.
This the program, girl. All of me extend you more than girl.
Yeah, I see the emojis coming through. Big shout out to him each and every time. That one is called Program. We're going to be playing 2 more of his releases, of his tracks. Okay, this next one is called Burn or Break. Make sure you take a listen. Here we go.
Never thought no girl would ever get me down like this. She got me drowning in the rain and top my love. I reminisce of all the times I used to wonder if she care and all I hide and all disguise until she finally disappear and I say, hey honey baby, want to discover if you would have been my friend or if you could have been my lover. Now me sorry all the days more my feelings undercover cause me heart a hurt and my soul just a suffer. I won't burn and I won't break. I won't make the same mistake. Whatever you give me I will take. This love for you just will not shake. I won't burn and I won't break. I won't make the same mistake. Whatever you give me I will take. This love for you just will not. Never thought no girl would ever get me up like this. Got me burning like the heat of 7 suns. The energy that emanates from her essence, not the perfume, but the care coming from staring at me, lock me down like curfew. Works you when I'm around you, impressed. Because a long time I'm not free, but you know, see my gesticulation. Invasion of body, mind, and soul is my goal. You never know before now, but I am make you know that I won't burn and I won't break.
Yes, people, that one is called Burn or Break. We're now taking you to his latest release. Okay, it's called Sunday Evening. Make sure you go and support, go and show some love. Here we go.
Another Sunday evening on my lawn. Under a shadow. I'm Jericho. She's not home, she's out eating sweet ice cream and cake. I am home alone, this feeling can't be my fate. Is she loving someone or is it just be herself? I never had no business to be caught in her spells. And I say to her call, but I rather hello my baby. Dear shelf my thoughts, is what I found out lately. Don't fear my past, I said goodbye so clearly. Not say you're shady, you're just a little crazy. She's not home, she's out eating sweet ice cream and cake. Boy, I'm home alone, this feeling can't be my fate. Is she loving someone or is it just be herself? I never had no business to be caught in a spell.
That's right, Aristotle the Great. Go and show some love, go and show some support, go and check him out, okay? And of course, big shout out to all those who've been sending lots of questions, lots of love, lots of blessings. It's always, always appreciated.